All right, what is going on, everybody? Jets Afterburners podcast. I am your host, Liam. I am being joined by Gunny Gumby and Tyson Rauch of Let's Talk Jets. How you guys doing tonight?
Bro, I'm doing
Tyson?
good, man. Dude, that intro was badass, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, yeah, I was feeling that. I was really feeling that.
I was bopping with him, going down memory lane too. It's all like
right.
I was like, this is. I wanted to watch more. Can we watch it again? That was awesome.
I can't take credit for it. That was all Dan. So Dan unfortunately cannot be with us tonight.
Taste.
He's dealing with a couple things, not feeling so great. So completely understand. But before we get into all this, last week we had you guys both on. We started off with Tyson because we were doing a great charity event. Tyson, you want to give the details about that one more time, even though it's in the past now?
Yeah, it was this past weekend. I did 5 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, 60 miles in 48 hours to raise awareness for mental health issues and also for soldiers, disabled American veterans, soldiers that are struggling with PTSD and things like that. And you guys were very generous for aid to help promote it. And also you and Dan both, you actually fasted too.
Yes.
And donated money too. So I definitely appreciate that. But it was an incredible fundraiser, man. It's just trying to raise awareness because a lot of people are suffering in silence. A lot of our soldiers, our veterans are struggling and not getting the support they need. So we're trying to raise awareness, man. So that's what I did. It was a little extreme. The weather was not what it was supposed to be. So that made it interesting. But I want to thank you guys both. And especially, Gunny, you throughout, you kept, sending me messages and stuff, man. I definitely appreciate that because you go into a mental spot where you're just going through it, man. Like physically you're exhausted, but the mind games that goes through your head when you're I was extremely dehydrated, dealing with all kinds of just stuff and getting messages from you guys and everybody else, dude. It really helped a lot because you doubt every facet of your being going through stuff like that.
Yeah, like I just gotta touch on this, Tyson. Like you're a savage, man. Because as I was seeing you clock the miles, right, time and time again, it kind of took me back to when I had done the Marine Corps Marathon back in 2010. Marine Corps Marathon. Listen, I'm 6'2". In the Marine Corps, I was about 210 pounds. I can do the 3-mile run because I'm trying to go ahead and get a perfect score, but my fellow Marines, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooks, shout out to Pegram, you savages, and Mason. They kind of like, they not bullied, but they kind of reverse psychologied me into doing the freaking Marine Corps Marathon. Listen, I am not a long distance runner by any means. I'm the guy that's going to hit you in the gym. I love my HIIT workouts. I'm all about quick, fast, and boom, and I'm out.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'll do it. The amount of training it took, man, to do 36 miles for the Marine Corps Marathon. And I died. I died during it. Like, in all actuality, I begged for death. It was so horrible. Yep. By the time you get to mile 15, mile 20, and all you're thinking about is like, why? Why would I make this decision? Yep. As I was watching you clock the freaking miles, bro, I was like, this dude is just... You're not real, bro. 60, you're not real. There's no way. Because in my head, I kept going back to when, man, okay, so he's done freaking 10 miles. By the 10-mile mark, I was really starting to feel it. Like, it sucks. Wow, okay, cool. Yeah. By, like, mile marker 15, I was just like, nah, man, you know what? I could get hit by a car right now and call it a day. I'm done. This is ridiculous. Bro, again, shout out to you, man, because that's next level stuff. You would have made an outstanding Marine Corps officer. You are literally wired different to go ahead and push your body beyond what it's capable of. It's one of those rare attributes in men because not many can do it. And myself, I literally have the medal somewhere for accomplishing the Marine Corps Marathon. I've had Marines try to get me to do it ever since. Never again will I put myself through that, because at some point, like you said, it's not about physical anymore. It's 100% mental and willpower, because your body is telling you, like, stop. Stop. I want to die. I want to quit. Stop. Yep. But mentally, you got to push forward, man. So, hey, respect. Nothing but love for you, dog, because great freaking, not only a great cause, but you putting yourself through that, putting action into the words you're saying. It's just above and beyond, man. Like, a lot of my Marine Corps friends were donated, and they were talking about, like, yo, this dude is different. A few of them assumed that you were a former Marine or something like that was doing it. I was like, nah, this dude never served before, man. He's just doing this because he cares about veterans. it was funny because amongst the services, we obviously talk crap to each other, and we were having a conversation, and then they were like, "Hey, what branch is he in?" And I played along. I'm like, "What? Hey, take a while, guess what branch he's in?" And they were like, "Well, we know he ain't Air Force. He definitely ain't Navy. So he's got to be either a Marine or he's got to be Army, like Army Rangers." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, you guys are wrong. He's literally a civilian doing things that some of us wouldn't do." So. Respect, man. You were a topic of conversation with me and my friends. So nothing but respect, man. Nothing but love for you, dog.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
It was ridiculously challenging, but it was like the support of Jets Twitter. But to be honest with you, Gunny, like we talked about this last year. We did this last year, not as crazy as this one, but it's the stories you hear from everybody that shares their like the outpouring support I got, and the people that were sharing their personal stories about a lost loved one, their brother that took his own life, or they lost their father, all these different things. Like the stories you heard, it was like it just inspired you. I'm like, dude, how can this still like so much of this stuff is going on? We talked about it last Thursday. This stuff is going on, and I'm like, not to discount what anybody else does, but if you do a 5K, everybody's like, oh, that's pretty cool. You did a 5K run, that's pretty cool. Like sometimes you gotta do something outlandish or kind of crazy. Start raising awareness. Be like, you know what? Let's start this conversation somewhere. Let's open some eyes here and be like, all right, that's kind of crazy what he did. You know what's more crazy? These guys are unemployed and can't get jobs. That's crazy. Or these guys have PTSD and they can't get help. That's crazy. They're serving our country. So the stories people were sharing, and some of them were just like, dude, so heartfelt and so personal. I'm like, well, thank you for sharing. And dude, you almost crying, start reading them, dude. You're like, how can this be going on? So you go through those dark moments. And I'm like, dude, you got to find a way, man. And like, you just got to find a way to keep doing it, because the longer you go, the more attention you're going to get, right? Like 20 miles, everybody's like, that's cool. What's only a half marathon? That's only a marathon. Like 30, hey, it's kind of cool. Like you start getting 30, 40, and then you see like I looked terrible. I had like bags on my eyes. I looked awful. But it's like, hey, let's raise this conversation now. Let's talk about things now. And it made a big difference, dude. Raised a lot of money, raised over $4,500, probably close to $5,000. I'm presenting it to them in 2 weeks, and they're all shocked too. Like they said with you, they're like, dude, we can't believe you did this as a civilian. But I'm like, I can't believe you guys are veterans that aren't getting help. So that's kind of when it all happened. But it was wild, man. I've never doubted myself so much in my life. You go in some moments where you're laying there and you're like, you're shaking, you're dehydrated. Like you can't drink water. Because what happened was it was monsooning, dude. It was literally monsooning all Saturday.
Yeah.
So you try to like, you want to dress comfortable, but not too heavy. And you're sweating twice as much because you're already somewhat dehydrated. And then your body's just like, you're shutting down. Like you can't drink Pedialyte, whatever you're drinking, it doesn't matter, So you start shaking, you start dehydrating, you just can't, it's just awful. And you got to figure it out. And it's just, then you think about it. And like a lot of the things that Goggins talks about is actually true. Like your body gets to a point where it's like, you know what? This crazy bastard's not going to quit. He's going to keep going. So you'll go from being cramped up, where my calf was so cramped up I was limping, to like a half mile later, it's like, the pain went away. I'm like, what the hell happened? This is crazy. You know what I mean? So wild experience. If anybody wants to do it, start with the 48. Start with the 4x4 by 48, because 60 is a lot of friggin' miles. But again, thank you both. Thank you to everybody that helped out, man. The support was, I'm telling you, it got me through Saturday night, because midnight, 1 o'clock Saturday night, I hit a wall where I was like, this is it. I think I'm done. Like I can't move. Like I couldn't, you have your time, you have to go. Like my body was just locked up. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I don't know what to do here. And you read the messages and you're drinking water. I'm like, all right, let me just try jogging and see what happens, Yeah. And that's what happened. But thank you guys, man. It was an experience.
Honestly, Tyson, thank you for shining a light on it, on a subject that a lot of people don't even want to touch with a 10-foot pole. Nope. So you doing that, like you're the real hero, obviously, along with the military as well. Now, you obviously did something crazy. Armand in the chat says, are you going to increase the challenge next year?
Bro, do you understand what I just did?
Right. Bro, I don't think he gets it. He doesn't get it. That's what it is.
Like the Goggins challenge. The Goggins challenge that's extremely challenging is 4 miles every 4 hours. I added a mile to it. And that's, I'm not like, I enjoy running. I enjoy working out and stuff. But this was something that, Gunny, we talked about. This is something I trained for a while, because you've got to physically be ready for it. I don't think you could add to that. I mean, that's like, pro athlete kind of stuff. That's way out of my range.
Yeah. But honestly, bro, pro athletes couldn't do what you did. I love you said that, because a lot of people always put like pro athletes as being the pinnacle, like football players, basketball players. Listen, what he just did, I guarantee you 99% of pro athletes could not do. I freaking guarantee it. Because it's completely putting yourself out of the comfort zone. Oh, yeah. And athletes get comfortable in doing what they've done repetitively, right? You're doing sprints, you're trying to score points. Like mentally, there's a cause at the end of a freaking game for everything you do and you train for. This is literally a man running to literally create awareness. Your body's like, when is it going to end? Like, your body doesn't know. Like, mentally, he knows it's going to end eventually, but your body does not know that. And he has to force his body to. 99% of athletes, professional athletes, could not have accomplished that. I 100% guarantee that.
Yeah, but and Liam, you made a really good point. And the whole thing about this is, the whole we sold shirts. I got you guys both got a shirt, and thank you for that. Yeah. It's okay to not be okay. And the one thing is, as men, we're always strong. We all have that bravado. Yep. And a lot of times we don't want to admit a weakness or a problem or something that we're dealing with, especially a mental health issue like depression or this and that. We keep it all inside. We hold it all inside. And that's why there's so many problems out there. So it's like the goal is like, listen, let's have that conversation. It's okay to say, you know what? I have problems. I struggle with depression. I have anxiety, or I deal with PTSD, and get the help that you need. And it's okay to do that. And that's the thing is we have to have an environment where everybody's okay to have the conversation. Like, we can talk about it now openly. Like, it's a no judgment zone. I'd rather people say, you know what, I have a problem, get help, than keep it inside and go down a path they don't want to go down and not here any longer. So that's something that, we got to try to keep working on that. And that's something that you kind of like near and dear to my heart, especially when we heard Dan's story last week, with his friend. It's just, there's so many heartbreaking stories out there that you want to change it, man. You want to change the narratives out there and change how people handle PTSD and depression and anxiety. So any way to do it. Next year, probably something a lot easier. Maybe take a bike or something. But I'll just drive 60 miles. But that's good enough.
60 miles every hour.
That's right.
Do something crazy. So you talked about getting tired. Once fatigue set in, like, what did you do to overcome that?
Bro, it's tough. It's tough because I only slept, I think, from Friday to Sunday, like 6 hours, maybe 7 hours. Man. So you don't get, because it's every 4 hours. So say if you start running at 1, and I did the slow and steady approach, it took me an hour to run it. So now you're at 2:00. Then you only have 2 hours. Then your next run starts. So you're basically resting an hour, and you're not really sleeping because you're scared you're going to oversleep. You oversleep, challenge is over. You missed it. It's 4 hours. Like, it's very regimented. There's really strict rules. So you don't really sleep, man. I use the energy gels that have potassium in them. Okay. A lot of fruit. I mean, and then you go into dark places, man. Like, I was literally like almost hallucinating at one point. You're just so dehydrated. You don't know what to do, You just tons of water and try to figure it out. Towards I think like Saturday, I started pounding pancakes. I was just like, give me anything, man. I'm like,
give me all the carbs, all of them.
The chicken and rice sounds great. It ain't working anymore. Like, I need something like, I was like whipping out M&Ms and stuff.
Yeah. What were you doing in between the mile? Like, were you like obviously like not sleeping much, or were you eating a lot and just drinking? I'm sure
you would eat, you would drink, I'd load my legs up with Tiger Balm or Icy Hot, like your calves and your hamstrings, and kind of elevate them and just try to rest as much as possible. That's it. You really can't do much. Like, you don't sleep. You kind of sit there and just stare at the wall, and you go on social media and check out some messages which kind of inspires you, but you're just like, please don't break down. Like, please don't cramp up. Yeah. That's kind of just not move,
Right. And then once it was over, you said you were going to go drink some beer and hang out. Did you do that?
Mm-mm.
No?
Dude,
what was the recovery like?
Dude, it sounded great. Cause like the weirdest thing was that last 5 miles was so cool. Cause you're like, you knew it, like you made it. And it was like, you're all fired up and you're like happy. So then
you get this weird burst of energy that you didn't have for the last 40 miles, but all of a sudden it shows up.
It was probably one of my faster runs. You're like, this is awesome. I'm great. Yep. Hung out. And then, so my family was aware of it. My parents watched. I ran in their development. They were really nervous. Like, listen, you got to come over, have some food. I bought like a 12-pack of Land Shark. I'm like, I'm going to hammer these beers. Casamigos tequila. Dude, I had one beer and passed out. I didn't even finish it. I was out. Your body just shuts. Your body's like, all right, listen, man, we're cool now, but you need to sleep for like 12 hours because you're done.
Yeah, I was totally expecting that from you, just to completely sleep and just. That's probably what I would do. You're probably in so much pain afterwards, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, it's the soreness, cramping. But to me, it's like an alcohol makes it worse, actually. It hydrates even more. So it's like the beer sounded like a great idea, but it was like, all right, what sounds even better? Gatorade and water and everything else.
And sleep.
Yeah, that helped too. So,
once again, Tyson, just wanted to thank you for that, man. Really shining some light on such a dark subject, doing what you did. Obviously, like we had said, 99.9% of athletes, 99.9% of NFL players, they could not do this. So what you're doing is truly amazing, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody could do anything they want if you put your mind to it. You just got to commit to something, commit to a cause. Like Gunny, we talked about. Like I trained really hard for this, man. And if you commit to something, it doesn't have to be 60 miles. You can say, hey, I want to do a 10 mile or I want to do a half marathon or whatever. Like if you really put your mind to it, you can do it. You just got to stick to it and make that commitment to yourself. You can't kind of half-ass things. Like I think I train fighters, man. Yep. Sometimes it's too easy to quit. Like I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. No, today's the day. Like promise yourself you're going to do it and just do it. And you can accomplish all kinds of things.
Yeah, 100%. So getting into some Jets news today, there's always some. Starting off with this fan base and this crazy organization. This fan base was going crazy, and I don't blame them. I was probably one of them. That Jadeveon Clowney obviously chose the Carolina Panthers. What are you guys thinking about that? I'll start with Gunny first.
Yeah, listen. Did I want Jadeveon Clowney? Yes. The thought of bringing him in to go ahead and be another asset, another first rounder, so to speak, on this defensive line at the right price, to me, made all the sense in the world. I looked at what he got paid last year at $2.5 million base salary with incentives. I thought if we were in that range of $3 to $4 million, and then you add incentives to get him to 9 to 10, made all the sense in the world. A 1-year mercenary contract. I was all about it. But at the end of the day, the Carolina Panthers gave this man a 2-year contract with $20 million, with another $4 million potentially in incentives. Yeah. So it's making me wonder whether or not he's got $20 million guaranteed with the ability to make 24, because it was worded as $20 million over 2 years with the potential to make 24, which leads me to believe that did he get $10 million guaranteed per year for 2 years? We're still waiting to see it, but even still, it's too much. I'm not mad about it, man. Of course, Jets Nation is freaking out, but we still have one of the top defensive lines in the NFL. We also drafted a guy in Will McDonald last year, 10th overall, and we don't know what he is yet. He's supposed to be a better version of Bryce Huff, so I'm hoping we get a chance to actually see that this year. Jermaine Johnson definitely took a huge step into year 2. I can't wait to see him in year 3. We're good. In the words of an Aaron Rodgers, relax. I think we're good, right? Like, the fact of the matter is, Jadeveon Clowney was a luxury. He would be a luxury addition to this defensive line. And then you've got guys like Reddick, who right now I think with the Eagles, they're trying to kind of move off of his contract. He's a little bit older in year. Listen, hey, Joe, we missed out on Jadeveon. Give them a call, see what it would take to go ahead and bring him into the building if you want to add more depth to the defensive line. But I'm not freaking out about it, man. Again, hey, listen, he gave his hometown team to pay him a tax to come home. Like, to me as a Jets fan, I think that's awesome. Usually we're paying the tax to go ahead and get players, but in order for them to pull him away from us, they had to literally give him an additional year for him to come home. That's a win for the Jets organization, that the home team of a player decided they had to pay him more money to pull him away from us, and I'm okay with it. 2 years, man, $20 million was way too much. I would have not been okay with it if freaking Joe Douglas freaking matched that. We still have to add another piece, in my opinion, on the offensive line, maybe another wide receiver before we get into this draft. The last thing I was really concerned about was the defensive line. And if the Jets go from being a top 3 defense to a top 10 defense, I'm also okay with that, because being a top 3 defense hasn't really done much for us in the last couple of years. So assets to me should be going towards offense. So it happened. It's cool. Hey, good luck to Jadeveon, man. It would have been an awesome story. The guy is great in the run game. He also had more sacks last year. I think he had more sacks. No, he had 9.5 sacks last year. So he would have been a nice addition. But at the end of the day, we still haven't seen the full potential of a Will McDonald, and Jermaine Johnson has only gotten better year in and year out. So year 3 should be a fun one. Relax. We're good. I'm not tripping over it.
No, 100%. And then obviously, like the defensive line, we had lost Al Woods and Quentin Jefferson, so that hurts a little bit. And then historically, especially last year, the Jets really struggled against the run, and Jadeveon Clowney is really good against the run. So Tyson, what are you thinking about this? Do you agree with Gunny, or?
I mean, how good is Gunny? Is so good, man. Like this guy's like a top level content creator. I'm sitting back like we're gonna take notes and stuff. I'm like, damn, this guy's really good, man. I want to watch this show.
I love chopping up with Tyson, man. He always makes me feel good about myself after I do one of these interactions. With you guys.
I nod my head. I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Like, this is good.
I'm waiting for the bill after this.
Yeah. But you know what? I agree with Gunny though. It's like I think he was a luxury item. And to me, it's like that money should be better spent on wide receiver, backup running back, offensive line. Like there's other holes that are bigger concern. Like everybody wants to give Ulbrich and solid credit for this great defense, all this stuff. Okay, then you have all this young talent. Maximize that young talent. You took Will McDonald for a reason. Give him the chance to show what he has. Because you took him in the first round. He's not some 5th round guy, undrafted guy. He's your first round pick. Show us what you think you saw in him that you keep praising him for. Let's see this. Let's scheme up different defenses. And there's other guys out there. 2-year deal, I'm out. He went home. I'm fine with that. Like, it's not the end of the world for me. To me, it's like I'm more concerned about other areas. I will say the Jets' run defense to me is still a concern. That does bother me. It bothered me last year. But you have, maybe you can get more at John Franklin Myers. I know he's tweeting away and everybody else. But to me, it's like I think right now people are just complaining to complain because it's what the fun thing to do is on social media. Yep. But to me, it's like I'm not losing any sleep over it, man. There's other guys out there. I like Reddick as well. Like I've liked him last 3 years for the Jets, I think, at this point. Yeah. So there's plenty of people out there, man. But it's like everybody keeps praising Ulbrich. Oh, he's a great guy. He's a future head coach. Okay. Then what are we worried about? The problem is the exactly. Offense. The offense is the problem.
Would you pivot to anybody on the defensive line right now? Is there anybody else that you had in mind?
I mean, there's a bunch of guys out there still, right?
Armin actually just named a bunch here in the chat.
Not Shaq Lawson, though. I'm out on Shaq Lawson.
Shaq Lawson.
Yannick Ngakoue wouldn't be bad.
I would be okay with
him. Last year.
I'm a big fan of Calais Campbell as well. Not only is he a big body that can help you in the run, he's a great character dude as well. And you can't have enough of those guys in the locker room. So there's a couple of guys out there.
He did turn the Jets down last year, though.
He did. He did.
For whatever reason. I guess more money. But yeah, I don't know. Like you guys had said, it is definitely a luxury. I agree that the money should be spent on the offensive line. I mean, Tyler Boyd's still out there for wide receiver. I would like another offensive line. I don't know what's going on with David Bakhtiari. I don't know if he's coming or not. You guys big on that or?
Yep. I'm huge on it. Listen, before we brought into Tyron Smith, I really thought he was going to be the guy. Like I went and I dug deep into like the issues with his injury. This is a guy that had a 97% start rate before the torn ACL, and then he's dropped to 62%. But it's the same freaking knee. It's the same freaking injury. After he decided he was going to go ahead and get a second opinion, and they realized, like, hey, listen, they never actually repaired your original ACL tear the right way. I got my hopes, like, really high. Like, oh, crap. So it was messed up. They're going to fix the same knee. So I've been really big on David Bakhtiari. I hope the New York Jets do the right thing and bring him on board. If the New York Jets bring in a David Bakhtiari, I think that you have a 1-2 punch in Tyron Smith, who's going to be obviously your starter. And knock on wood, I'm not hoping this on him. I hope he does a full season. But if we're being honest with ourselves, the dude hasn't played a full season since 2015. Yeah. I don't know if that's a realistic expectation. And if you're a New York Jets fan, if you watch this team over the last 5 years, 4 to 5 years, had double-digit rotations in terms of offensive linemen, you kind of want as many freaking dogs on the offensive lineman as you can. So I would love to have him be back there to be the backup for Tyron Smith, because I think no matter what we want to believe, he'll get a chance to play. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I still want an offensive lineman in the draft, unless one of those top 3 wide receivers falls to us. The move should be offensive lineman. But if you don't do that point, you've got to bring in a Bakhtiari. I think that you cannot bet on Tyron Smith going through the entire season. So I'm huge on it, man. I'm hoping the Jets still make it happen.
They should make it happen. I mean, it's a no-brainer, dude, to be honest with you. He's best friends with Rodgers. He probably will come at some kind of discount. I think right now, a lot of these players are going to be quiet. They're going to wait till after the draft, see what teams do in the draft. Say, okay, now we have a hole, and the players get signed then. I think that's just a slam dunk, in my opinion. And the thing is, too, is you have a Tyron Smith, you have Bakhtiari, you have Morgan Moses. All these young linemen you have here are going to have excellent mentors. So if you want to draft a left tackle there, right? Like this is like you cannot get better mentors than Bakhtiari and Tyron Smith right there. Like, boom, perfect. Now you're kind of building something. So you can't have them the pieces of my puzzle. Like you want to spend, fine, give them the money. I don't care about that at all.
Yeah, ain't our money.
Yeah, exactly. They keep raising
quarterback, though. Save the guy.
Now, getting back to Tyron Smith for a second, we had said, obviously, that he has not played a full season in multiple years. And Tyson, I was listening to your show with Ian yesterday, and he had mentioned Fashanu, and I like this point. He made a really good point saying that he might not be ready to play immediately. But if we do draft him, and we're going to get more into the draft in a few minutes here, but if we do draft him, Tyron Smith starts off the season. Hopefully it's not an injury that causes him to not play, but if they could start like lowering his reps and then you kind of bring him in, I'm really high on that. You guys agree?
Bro, I mean, that's the one thing. If without signing Tyron Smith, anybody you draft has to start week 1. Like you say, okay, Fashanu, or say you get whoever is. All right, week 1, you have to play. You got to play a very high level and protect Aaron Rodgers. Now you have wiggle room. You know what, Fashanu? If you're a project or whoever you get, Latham, whoever you're getting here, like, you know what? We love you. We think you're a great player. Sit back, watch, and learn, and figure it out. And we're not throwing you to the wolves. So you have your quality depth, and you also have the future. So it's a jackpot, right? You have you're helping the now and the future, which is a good scenario to be in. Instead of being desperate, like, you know what? We don't care if you're ready or not. Go out there and play and figure it out. And we see how that happens because it doesn't work for us normally. And a lot of these guys, there are a lot of these guys are left or right tackles. So now we're going to say, you know what? You're a right tackle, but now you got to go play left. No, let's let them play their natural position. Let's not keep forcing things forcing guys where we don't want them to be. Let them be with us, right? Like, this is
100%.
almost common sense is being used here.
Yep.
Almost. I don't want to give them too much credit, but it could work that way this time.
And to piggyback off what Tyson just said, man, we've seen our best offensive linemen with the New York Jets, i.e. and freaking Elijah Vera Tucker, get hurt moving around to accommodate the losses we're taking on the offensive line. Listen, we've talked about this numerous times. Elijah Vera Tucker is an all-pro freaking guard, all-pro guard at the NFL level. He could be a good freaking tackle if need be. But both times he's gone to the tackle position, guys gotten hurt. Obviously, those shorter arms, we're having to extend significantly more so to go ahead and take away the edge, has caused those pectoral injuries. Like, what are we doing to ourselves? And I'm glad that we've heard Coach Saleh and Joe Douglas talk about, like, yeah, he's our right guard. He's going to stick at right guard. Good. Finally, we figured it out that you're getting your best offensive lineman hurt. Yes, he can do it, but it's not to his advantage. If both times he's done it, he's gotten hurt. So I'm 100% on bringing in Fashanu is my guy. Some are higher on Latham, and I'm starting to understand why. A big, powerful guy. I get it. I see it. I'm not going to be mad if he's the choice, if they see a guy that they believe is better. Fashanu, Latham, whatever you want. Do what it's got to be an offensive lineman. And like Tyson just said, to sit behind freaking Tyron Smith, you bring in Bakatari, you couldn't wish or dream a better scenario in which your young offensive lineman is sitting behind legends who've been Pro Bowlers, who've been All Pros, and understanding the speed of the game and the technical aspect of the game for them to be good and elite and take the next step next year. Even if it's this year, they got to come in. At least they're not starting the year and being thrown into the fire. Let's say week 8, week 9, whatever it is. Yep. They had a chance to watch some legends do it, and that is a plus. You can't lose there. So my biggest thing, I've been saying it all year, people are like, well, what if Garrett Wilson goes down? Then we don't have another weapon. It's Mike Williams. What if freaking, Conklin goes down? Then it's just Tyler Conklin. What if Aaron Rodgers goes down? What if Aaron Rodgers goes down? It's over. The season is over if he goes down. Are we trying to make a Super Bowl run, or maybe make the playoffs is good enough? I don't understand the logic. And again, it's the Jets. 4 out of the last 5 years, double-digit offensive line rotations. In fact, the 1 year we didn't was 9. It was 9. We're just one off from freaking a double-digit offensive line rotation. So I'm all about protecting Aaron Rodgers. We invested too much into the guy. He is the catalyst. He's him. He's the only way we're going to go ahead and see the promised land. So the more protection we have around him, the better, because he can elevate mid guys like an Allen Lazard to be a respectable wide receiver 3 if need be. Oh, and by the way, this draft has a bunch of wide receivers who are going to drop into the 3rd round. A bunch of guys who are going to be legitimate starters at the NFL level. To me, it's just too easy. I think offensive line is the answer 10 times over. I don't understand why we're even having a debate about it as Jets fans. We've seen how bad the offensive line can be because of injuries.
Well, I think it's a good mix-up between you want a day one starter that could start week 1 and have an impact, or here's an idea. This organization never does it. Maybe we're going to be doing it now that we just talked about it. You could actually have a first-round draft pick sit behind and learn and get developed. Wow, that's a concept. I didn't know that we could do that.
They did it with Will McDonald, right? Will McDonald sat behind Lawson and whoever else. They let him develop. Yep. Like we know we're so used to being desperate. We need talent so desperate. Everybody's got to play. We got to play now. We have 7 draft picks. We need 7 starters that got to contribute, and 5 got to be Pro Bowlers. It's not the way it's going to work. It's not, and we rush guys on the field. They get overwhelmed. We blow out their careers. So now it's like you got to be a little more pragmatic about things. And then I understand the whole receiver thing. I completely get it. I would go get Tyler Boyd. I have no problem getting Boyd. You want to draft the guy in a 3rd round, 4th round, add as many as you want. I don't care. but it's just offensive line has got to be a premium, man. It has to be.
Yep.
And everyone's saying that this is really the draft. If you need a wide receiver, they're going to be deep, like you guys had just mentioned.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Do you know how many times we've heard that and it doesn't work out? The Denzel Mims draft, how'd that work out for us? Elijah Moore, best player in the draft. Oh, a steal, another guy. Like, we hear it every year. Great wide receiver class. Great wide receiver class. We hear it every year. This falls on Joe Douglas to actually make that come to fruition now. We like the Brownlees and the Gibsons. They're all great stories. How about draft these guys now? Let's get these guys, get these third round picks that be like blossoming the stars. Yeah,
Tyson, I know you're a big Notre Dame fan, as am I. Is Joe Alt your number one offensive lineman in this draft?
Yeah, this is Irish goggles, 1,000%. I'm biased as hell, so you can't even ask me about it. That's where I'm at.
No, I'm right with you, Tyson. I love me some Joe Alt. What do you mean? Black goggles. I don't know if that's a thing, but Joe Alt to me in this entire draft class, there's only two guys who can't miss. I really believe watching everything. I'm like, all right, well, not everything, but like the first rounders, so to speak. Yeah. There's two guys who I know without question they're going to be legit NFL starters or all pros. That's the floor. That's the ceiling. Yep. And it's freaking Joe Alt's number one. And it's MHJ number 2. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. Has all the intangibles, has all the tangibles. He's bigger than his dad was. He's faster than his dad was. He's been running routes crisply since he was 9 years old, and you see it on tape. Those are the two guys that I look at, and I'm like, man, they can't miss. If Joe Douglas traded up, you're only trading up for one of those guys, and I'm with Tyson. I want it to be Joe Alt. That is our DeBrickashaw Ferguson reincarnated on this freaking offensive line for the next 10 to 15 years. Love the dude's game. Love his skill set. I love his technical prowess, his IQ. Literally, he checks he's size. The dude checks every freaking box.
Yep.
Like, it's too easy to look at him and say, that's a freaking football player. So, yeah, I'm all in on the Joe Alt train. All in.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. And if they do happen to make it out of the top 5, both of them for like whatever reason, are you guys willing to trade up to go get them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough though. It's like I love them too. I love them to even like the receivers too. I love them, but I'm like, all right, what's the compensation going to be? Like, I'd be more happy about giving up maybe next year's compensation instead of this year's. Like, like maybe, right? I don't want to say, okay, we'll give them like the first, the third, the fourth, and wipe out.
No.
Like, no. Let's talk about next year's draft picks. Then I'll be willing to talk some business. And
Let me clarify.
And Gunny, just for you, I'll throw in Alan Lazard too. I'll give you Alan Lazard.
You know what? And we'll give you Zach Wilson. There's your third string quarterback. We got you covered.
Got you.
I want to clarify. I'm with Tyson. I don't want to give up any assets in this year's draft. We don't have enough of them, and we need to go ahead and get some impact players potentially to benefit this roster, kind of well-rounded out. I'm okay with that. I think it was I forget who it was. They did the second rounder next year to move up the 5 spots. Yep. I'm okay with that. Yep. If it's going to cost us a second rounder next year to kind of move up 4 or 5 slots, hell, even if it's 2 slots, if it means it's one of those guys,
I'm down.
I would not be upset about it. But I'm not giving up multiple assets to go ahead and pretty much take a gamble, especially if it fails. But a second rounder to me is worth the potential ceiling of an MHJ or a Joe Alt, preferably Joe Alt, if they were to go that route. But I'm not giving up multiple assets. Well, I'm with Tyson on this one. We'll give you next year's second. We'll throw in Alan Lazard, and you know what? We'll even give you freaking Zach Wilson, and we'll cover half of his freaking salary. How's that sound? That's how I would love to sell that to whoever we need to trade up with.
And some new uniforms with the new logos on it too. You can get some new gear too. We'll be nice about it.
It's that.
Armin has a question here saying that if the Jets traded down to gain a second-round draft pick, and if a quarterback, Michael Penix or Bo Nix, is there in the second round, are you guys taking a quarterback? I'm out on this. I'm not doing it.
I'm out. It's funny because I had this discussion last night with Ian, and he made a really good point. Listen, like at some point you want to discuss it and think about it. Yeah. And I'll discuss it and think about it, and then I'll go, you know what? I need a receiver. I'm out. Let's go. You trade back. You trade back, get your offensive lineman, or you get your receiver, offensive lineman, some combo of those two, and to me, quarterbacks 4th round or later. That's what I'm kind of thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And if I'm not going to lie to you, in all actuality, this entire quarterback class does not tickle my fancy, as they say. No. I think a lot of these guys have high bust potential. I'm calling it now. Y'all can hear me live. Caleb Williams is going to be a bust, and it's going to be embarrassing how bad he freaking busts. Because it's the kid to me, does not have the mental aptitude to go ahead and play at the NFL level. He's not in control of his emotions. I just, you know what? This is for a different show because I can keep going on. But no, I'm sorry. I don't think if we're somehow able to get a second rounder, it's easy for me. It's offensive tackle in the first, wide receiver in the second. You go ahead and you add to those premium positions that's going to allow Aaron Rodgers to dice up defenses in freaking the fall. That's what I want. That's what I care about. I'm going to pass on the potential quarterback of the future on this one. Now, if you're talking about the fourth rounder and you have a Spencer Rattler there, who I really would like to pick up a Spencer Rattler. People hate his freaking attitude, but in terms of his game and his IQ, I would take a chance with the fourth and him sitting behind an Aaron Rodgers and running the game. But like, if you're talking about before the fourth round, I'm sorry, you can miss me with that. I don't see a quarterback helping this team, not just now, but next year as well, with a premium pick like that.
And not only that, like I kind of don't even want a quarterback at all in this draft. Like I want to go all in, give fair. Aaron Rodgers every resource he needs. I get it. Yeah, I get it, Tyson. Like you want somebody to be developed because once he does retire, and we do need a third string quarterback, all assuming that, well, Zach Wilson's not going to be released. So it's traded or he's here, according to Woody Johnson.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I think Zach Wilson 1,000% will not be here by week 1. He's going to be gone. But I mean, I could see if you draft a kid in the later rounds, he's going to sit and watch Tyrod Taylor and Aaron Rodgers for 2 years.
Yeah, there's a benefit to that, Liam. Like, in all actuality, like, we don't know. Okay, can we confidently say that Aaron Rodgers next year is our quarterback? The guy was just talking about being a VP candidate for freaking RFK. So, like, for me, if we can get somebody to get to sit behind him, and it makes him a serviceable player, even if it's just for the year, a serviceable player, I think that's worth it. Yep. I would like to see them draft a quarterback, I'm not going to lie, in this draft, again, fourth round or later, because of the fact that with the whole vice president thing that just happened with Aaron Rodgers, I've watched my wife freaking freak out over the last 4 years of Aaron Rodgers holding her Packers hostage in terms of what he was going to do. I refused for that to be us, and I swore that it wasn't going to be us when he got traded to us because he seemed different. But then how many times did we see him jump on one of his freaking platforms and say, they're kidding, I'm not going to be the VP. He literally allowed that to be the reality for us, even if it was just for a brief moment. That was the just reality for a little while where people were like, hey, your quarterback could legitimately freaking leave the NFL and go be a VP for freaking art. So, yeah, for a losing freaking candidate, too. That's the crazy part. But I digress. I can't go into if we can get a young quarterback to sit back and soak up some of the Aaron Rodgers magic, the Tyrod Smith, that to me is worth the risk because we have no idea what Aaron Rodgers is going to do to us next year, what he's going to be holding us hostage for.
One wrong ayahuasca trip, and that's all
it takes.
or one losing season.
Yeah,
you don't make the playoffs
that he plays in,
right?
I wonder if there's like a world where like Woody Johnson pisses him off or something. He's like, I'm done. You know, maybe he will go run for president. I mean, it would be kind of cool to see like Woody and Trump versus RFK and Aaron Rodgers. That'd be something, but you never know.
There's nothing cool about Woody Johnson.
No, absolutely. And then his comments.
He tries, but he fails.
Yeah, he is. So Tyson, you don't think that Zach Wilson's going to be on the team week 1? And I tend to agree with you. I don't know like what his trade value is considering our good old owner Woody Johnson completely killed it and then tried to revive it the other day. Now, do you see a situation? He said that he would not release him. Do you see a situation where maybe he does get released, or do you think if there is no trade, he is on the team?
They're not going to release him because they don't want egg on their face. The Jets are always worried about perception. They're worried about what everybody thinks about them and how they handle stuff. And they say, you know what? You release number 2 pick overall, the backlash, and there'll be a laughing stock of the NFL. They're going to trade him somewhere, probably swap picks, throw in a couple $1 million. I know Gunny talked about that before. They'll find a way. I think right now they're probably playing hardball, trying to get a little bit more. They're trying to save face right now, man. That's all they're trying to do. And I honestly believe at the end of last year, they promised Zach Wilson they're going to trade him. They made a little deal. You know what? You got hurt. End of the season, you're not going to play. And they probably made a little handshake deal. You'll be out of here. We've got to find the best way to do this without looking ridiculous. And they know what the market is. They saw what Justin Fields got. I mean, you know what it is. And
Jones.
That $5 million contract's a pain in the ass. So they just got to get creative with it. But I would be shocked if A, he's here and B, he's released. I'd be shocked.
Gunny, what do you think?
Yeah. I'm with Tyson, man. I don't think he's on the roster come week 1. What's going to happen is it's going to go into training camp at the latest. Someone, you know what I'm saying, knock on wood, is going to get hurt, and they're going to start calling. And it sounds like they've already had offers for freaking Zach Wilson, and they're trying to hold out for some, I don't know, some better option, as if this guy wasn't the worst statistical quarterback to ever touch a football in the NFL. That's what's mind-boggling to me. If somebody was offering a pack of cookies for freaking Zach Wilson at this point, you're winning. And so I'm kind of curious as to what trade offers they're kind of like passing up on, but nonetheless, an injury happens in training camp, and then whatever one of those teams who are interested is might boost it up by half a round, right? Like, hey, listen, if he starts this many games, it can become this kind of a pick. So I believe he'll be off this roster too. I'm with Tyson. No way come week 1 of the NFL season that Zach Wilson is a New York Jet. Nope. At the very least, it's because of the pure fact of what that can do to the locker room. You already told the kid you can go ahead and seek out a trade. You've already talked crap about the kid on social media. You got Coach Saleh talking about if we had a quarterback, we could have probably done this, that. Like, literally, it's been shot after shot. At one point, I was thinking to myself, did we already trade Zach Wilson? Because Coach Saleh, who never throws guys under the bus, is talking about how he had no quarterback and how he had no wide receiver in Alan Lazard, and they're both still on the roster. So I think it's done. You don't come back from that. So ultimately, he's no longer a New York Jet. It's just a matter of when that trade gets processed.
Yep. Yeah, I agree 100%. And then, Gunny, I know you have a couple more minutes. Yeah. I didn't get to really look into the whole Saul Woody Johnson argument. Yeah. Did you guys check it out? I really don't even know what happened.
So briefly, I don't know if y'all heard about it, but apparently it was leaked today through The Athletic, of course.
Yeah.
They were talking about how it was captured. Woody Johnson and Coach Saleh going at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, very angrily and loudly. They were both pissed off at each other or whatnot. And they had an argument. Honestly, personally to me.
But Connor Hughes rebuffed the whole thing and said it didn't happen.
Did he really?
Yeah, Connor Hughes.
I haven't seen that part.
Yeah, okay. So Connor Hughes came out and said he was there. He was actually at the party. And this is all like nonsense. It's not nothing true about it.
Oh, Zach Rosenblatt, you're slipping, my guy. Because Zach was the one that put it out there that there was an argument.
It was like Colleen Wolfe or something like that was talking about it or something, and all this other stuff. But so
Josina, whatever her name is.
Yeah. But the thing is this: at this point, it's like the Jets are a team that everybody likes to attack. They're
100%.
Like they're a desperate team trying to do desperate things. So when in doubt, if you want views, you want clicks, you want social media go crazy,
we're easy.
Yep. Hit the Jets, and you know what? They deserve it because you know what? They've been dysfunctional for a long period of time. And the worst thing is like they've done so many dumb things in the past that a lot of stuff wouldn't even surprise you. Like, would it really surprise you if it actually happened? It wouldn't surprise you.
No, it didn't. When I saw it, I was just like, that sounds about right. That sounds very Jetish. I didn't even question it. I really thought, like, of course. But the thing that pissed me off is, why wouldn't you guys do it in front of reporters so that we can see it and report on how dysfunctional we are as an organization? Yeah. So it registered with me, and I was agitated when I saw it. But I'm glad it got debunked because we've had enough freaking locker room organizational drama in the offseason. But like you said, we deserve it. And we're easy. We're an easy target because at the end of the day, it got posted. I read it. I got emotional about it. I went and looked for more details about it. Yep. They're getting their scrolls and their views from us as a fan base. We're all about knowing more about our team. So they know exactly how to target us.
Yeah. And Gunny, real quick before you go, so far, what would you give a grade for the Jets free agency so far?
Yeah, man. I won't lie to you. I didn't expect for Joe Douglas to have done as good of a job as he's done thus far, especially with our salary cap situation. I was really expecting the draft to be the key component in us being able to fill a lot of these holes that we currently have. I mean, we were missing 3 offensive linemen coming into freaking free agency. 3 offensive linemen. We literally had no wide receiver other than Garrett Wilson on the freaking board. We know Alan Lazard is there, but is he really? So there was so many holes that needed to be filled. The fact that he was able to go ahead and get 3 offensive linemen and a wide receiver to offer a guaranteed $23 million to me is insane. And it wasn't that he just found some guys to say, you know what, we're going to throw you here at this spot or that spot. He had an all-pro left tackle, a Pro Bowl caliber right tackle, an up-and-coming freaking left guard, and Mike Williams is a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Like, I know there's some issues with those individuals in terms of injury concerns with a guy like a Tyron Smith and, of course, Mike Williams. I mean, you got the Iron Man in a Morgan Moses who was playing last year with one arm and had high grades across the board. So I'm actually like, okay, if you look that good with one arm and you got it fixed already in the offseason, I can't wait to see you this year when you're healthy. So there's a lot of upside with what he's done. So I'm giving him a B+. I give him a B+ because Ultimately, when he first kicked it off, we were all heated. We were like, wow, he must be asleep at the wheel somewhere. He's on vacation somewhere, eating cheeseburgers or something. I was brutal in terms of like how he was really, really slow in getting started. But then all of a sudden he comes out swinging, and like the Jets seem to do the last couple of years, I feel like we won the offseason. You literally fixed every position that we had a hole in. But not only that, you improved drastically in terms of talent level at those positions. And you did it at a bargain price of $23 million guaranteed. Like, you got to respect that. And Joe Douglas definitely shocked me with that. So I give him a B+. A B+ definitely for what he was able to accomplish this offseason thus far. And the draft, I mean, unless he drafts a defensive player, I see him not being able to go ahead and really throw it off too much. If he goes defense, man, I might have to renounce my fandom for a year, man. I don't know if I can do it. I would lose my mind if he goes defense in the first round.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for him to screw this draft up.
Exactly.
Don't say that. Let's
not. Knock on some wood. Knock on some wood.
Never assume.
He might surprise us.
I
know. Tyson, what grade would you give?
Same grade, man. I'm with him. It's like he made solid moves, what gave us flexibility this year, next year, no crazy contracts. It's like it's responsible. There's a level of risk. The Mike Williams one concerns me more than most people because I'm like, you know what? If he's not ready till week 1, when's he going to be legitimately ready and in sync with the offense and Aaron Rodgers? Is it week 6, week 7? So that's why I want to go get a Tyler Boyd or other receivers to kind of like offset that learning curve, just him getting back into like the playing mode that he wants to be in. But dude, it's quality picks, man. Like they were stuck. Not a lot of cap space, not a lot of draft picks, and you got to fill all these holes. And he got quality. There's some risk, but that's all he could really do at this point. Like he created these holes, like the mess he created, but he's trying to fix it, right? But like the play, you can look at each player and justify it. You know what? I like that. It makes sense. Can they stay healthy? We'll see. But there, but to me, it's like he's not done. We talked about it earlier. Get more line depth, get the backup running back, get other pieces, though. Don't, everybody's saying Joe Douglas, the best general manager of all time. He still has some moves he has to make here, though. Yeah. There's a lot of work he still has to do.
And you make a really good point saying that Mike Williams might not be ready. Would you go out? Would you be willing to trade for T. Higgins?
Oh, yes.
What would you give up for him?
Go big or go home. Why not? I don't care.
I agree 100%. But what would you be willing to give up for him?
Oh man, not having a second round pick this year blows.
It does.
I don't even know. What would you give him, Gunny? I mean, I'd be willing to do this one because I like T. Higgins a lot.
I like T. Higgins a great deal, and I would hope it would cost us again future draft capital. So I would give them the option of taking our 3rd this year and maybe a 4th next year, or we'll give them the 2nd rounder next year for T. Higgins, and we're gonna go ahead and obviously absorb the contract, all that good stuff. So I like T. Higgins a lot too. I'm with Tyson on this one, and it's a win now move. Like if Joe D comes out and brings us T. Higgins, we know like he's serious. Okay, this dude is serious. It's really about winning now. He understands the window is small, and he's attacking it. T. Higgins is immediately an impact player, and yeah, you can go ahead and take the gamble on one of these young studs in the draft and hope they can become a T. Higgins. Or just go get freaking T. Higgins, who's played at the NFL level. He's shown what he's about. And now you got a combination of freaking Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, and Mike Williams as 1, 2, and 3. Listen, you got me sold off freaking day. I think he's worth a 2nd rounder next year. If we got to do a 2nd and a 5th next, so like a later, I'm okay with that too. This year, I would, if it had to be a compensation this year, then yeah, the 3rd rounder makes sense. And hopefully we can go ahead and get him for a 4th or a 3rd next year as well. But the package has to make sense. I really don't want to give up any 1st round picks for anybody. I love those 1st round picks. I mean, again, we've 100%. We've seen Joe Douglas do some good things with those 1st round picks. So I would like to keep those in our arsenal. But yeah, I'm willing to go as high as the 2nd round, man, next year, and with some later rounds.
I agree 100%.
And of course, Zach Wilson and Alan Lazard.
And Zach, yep, of course. And we're gonna of course absorb some of Zach Wilson's salary so we can go ahead and alleviate some of the financial concerns. So 100%, they got their backup QB, a wide receiver 4, and picks next year.
That's great. All right, I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up here. I just wanted to thank you guys once again, Tyson and Gunny, for coming on. Tyson, thank you for giving us the update. You told us how the run was going to be, and then you told us how it actually went. Super proud of you, my friend. Really great calls once again. Gunny, thank you for your service, and thank you for bringing some insight from a veteran himself. That really helps out a lot, too. So
Well,
just
he's
really
also a celebrity YouTuber too, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that's our honor here. We gotta get the fancy lights, the whole setup. He's just dropping all kinds of knowledge. It's just like,
Listen, Tyson, you're the real hero here, bro.
Don't
Like
worry.
in all actuality, dog. Like again, like I said before, between me and my boys, you've been the talk of the week. We've talked about you for like the last week.
Yep.
So from myself and fellow veterans, man, like thank you for what you did, bro. Like very few people ever put words to action. You doing not just one, but doing both really shows the caliber of a human being that you are and the man that you are. So none but love for you, dog. I appreciate you. Thank you for what you did, man. And it's an honor to know you as a fellow Jets YouTuber.
bro, no, you guys are way too nice. No, thank you both of you for your support. You guys both got shirts and stuff. And Gunny, man, we talked last year about it, and like a lot of things you said stuck with me, man. So I appreciate all your insight. Thank you for your service. And dude, you're doing awesome, man. Your content is like you're a star, dude. You're like all official. Like you drop like legitimate, like precise knowledge. It comes out awesome. Like I literally watch you do it. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like,
I appreciate
popcorn
you
over
guys,
popcorn
man.
beer. I'm ready.
Yo, it's crazy, dog. Like you say that, Tyson, but I told you before, bro. Like when I came out here to Texas, I'm so far away from Jets. I got my Jets news from your stream, Green Bay. So whenever I hear this stuff from you guys, and I'm like, you're on my Mount Rushmore of Jets YouTubers. Like, what do you? So like, that's an honor to hear that from you, dog. So I appreciate it. It means I'm doing something right, and I'm gonna keep doing it right.
Definitely.
You know what's really cool for me too is Tyson. You always saying that like your channel is really just like clowns and jokes, which it has really great.
The
content.
essence of Jets fans. Tyson's channel is the essence of Jets fans. There's no other way to describe it because he says what the rest of us are feeling or thinking and doesn't give a damn like how it comes out. So like you can literally watch his channel and be like, hell yeah, thank you, Tyson. Somebody had to say it. Like you find yourself realizing like somebody had to say it because other people won't. So like I love watching Tyson's channel, bro. Like because I always know, especially when I need to go ahead. Am I being weird thinking this about the Jets? I'll jump on this channel and I'm like, nope, I'm not. That's how we're all feeling. Thank God it's not just me.
Yeah, I remember when I found you, Tyson. It was like I think it was like 2018, 2019.
Oh.
You were freaking out about like Adam Gase. Like I'm like, I like this guy.
I remember that
right there.
I couldn't take it, man. That guy broke me. I couldn't take it. I was really pissed off every day. Just pissed.
Every single stream, it was a rant. I loved it because again, I was like, Peyton Manning recommended this bum? Seriously? I couldn't Then I was like, maybe we really don't know ball. Nope, we were right. Peyton was wrong about freaking Adam Gase.
And it was funny because we used to try to be like professional and not curse. And I'm like, I'm tired of this. I can't take any more of this nonsense because they were just so bad and so incompetent. Yeah. And it's just, we deserve better. So it's like, I let you guys be all professional. And we just do chaos over there and just, and we got more. I'll tell you this. We have more Muppets than any other channel. We got all the Muppets on our channel. So I like our Muppets.
It's cool for me because Tyson, like, I don't know if you realize, like, you inspired a lot of people to start their own podcast, myself included. You were definitely one of the reasons.
Yep.
And I remember you gave your reason just saying that you were sick and tired of like guys like Rich Cimini and not Jet fans saying Jet fans are feeling. And I'm like, I agree with that 100%. And that's kind of why I started my channel. So you gave me a lot of inspiration to start it. And then it's funny because Gunny was my first guest when me and Italy Jet first started.
Yeah.
So like I got like both of my worlds combined right now. It's pretty cool.
It all comes in the circle of Jets YouTubers. It all comes together.
That drove me crazy because you have like Brian Costello. Jet fans think this. How do you know what I think? You're not a Jet fan. You're trying to get clicks.
Don't speak for us.
Or like Cimini, and I like over and over and over. I'm like, I'm so tired of that. Like we drink, we go to games. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're feeling because we're Jet fans. We haven't won a Super Bowl in 50 years. Like, don't tell me what I think. You know what I mean? That's why, dude, I will put Jets YouTubers against anybody. The content that everybody cranks out is so good, man. It's such a high level, right? It's a high level. It's well versed. It's intelligent, and it's just all quality, man. Everywhere. Because we go on other channels, like other teams, and you like all respect to them, but like Jets content creators, man, are just they bring it, man.
Yeah, I got a little secret too. So over the weekend, as I was fasting, I was doing a side job, just trying to keep my mind off of things. And I was talking, there was like this 9-year-old at this house I'm working at, and he said he was a Giants fan. And I jumped up with joy saying, in your lifetime, you have never witnessed a Super Bowl, just like I have. And I don't care that he was 9 years old. I'm like, yeah, I hope that you never see one.
The truth hurts, little man. but that's your story.
Because most Giant fans, they act like, I'm like, you guys haven't won in quite a couple years either. So it was nice to see like a little Giants fan that's never seen a Super Bowl, just like me, the little brother Jet fan that never gets to see one either. So that gave me a lot of pleasure.
It's our little victories.
You got to take the wins when you can, Tyson. You got to take the wins when you can.
Yes, 100%. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on. We're definitely going to do this again, have you guys both on before or after the draft. I love doing this with you guys. So just wanted to give you guys a big thank you once again for coming on. Really great things. So where can everybody find you? We're starting off with Gunny. Gunny, where can everyone find you?
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Y'all can see me on the New York Jets Situation Report channel. I'm actually back again at it and doing live streams on Tuesday nights. And I did my first breaking news video today with the JV and Clowney news being released. I haven't done one of those in a while, so I'm getting back into it. I'm falling in love with it all over again. I found a streaming service that makes it so much easier to just get in front of the camera and go, vice having to do hours and hours of editing. So I'm running with it. If it sucks, let me know. I'll go back to the original formula of editing videos the harder way. But you can see me there. I'll be on Thursday nights with Thursday Think of It with Green Bean. On Monday nights, I'm on Nightcaps with the New York Jets with my boy Jacob Porto. That's in the chat right now. So listen, hey, look, if you want to see me, I'm out there. I love chopping it up with Jets fans. Man, I'm in Texas. This is the way I get to reach out and communicate with you guys and really have dialogue. I got Texans fans talking crap to me as if their organization has won the last 10 Super Bowls or something like that. So it's fun to actually chop it up with intelligent sports knowers, ball knowers, so to speak. So yeah, man, you guys can see me weekly if you want to.
Gunny's like, well, on Monday you can catch me here, Tuesday here, Wednesday here, Thursday here, and Friday, Saturday here.
Multiple times a week we can catch it. Tyson, everyone knows where you're from, but if for whatever reason they don't, you want to give
I'm Let's Talk Jets, man. Our channel is uncensored, a lot of chaos, not as intelligent and well-spoken as you guys, a lot of... We just call it like we see it. And once a week, I do a show at Jet Central, too. On his channel, we do a live stream on Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. That's really it, though. I'm not out and about as much as I used to be. I'm kind of like reeling it in a little bit because it's just been really busy. But, of
course,
do the best we can.
Over the years of service you've given us, go ahead and get Jets news. I know you're tired. You've got to be tired, especially
I'm tired of losing, man. I'm tired
this
of losing.
team doing. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we can't blame you. At some point, we got to take the mantle and go ahead and take the next step for you, man. Because you've been doing it for a long time.
like Woody Johnson said, what? I'm out.
Yep. That's all it's gonna take. Yeah, we're all some broken men. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's facts.
But all right, gentlemen, thank you guys once again. Tune back in next week. Next Wednesday. Yeah, we're doing Wednesdays now, actually. So next Wednesday, Dan should be back. So that's gonna be really interesting. Yeah, he unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. But thank you guys for watching. Talk Jets soon.